As of this November 25th, I will be an 11-year survivor of ovarian cancer. I was diagnosed when I was just 8, and there's not one day that goes by that I don't either think about cancer, have a doctor's appointment pertaining to cancer, or hear about another friend of mine getting or relapsing their cancer. There are times that it feels like a battlefield, and there are times that it feels like some cruel form of the draft. It's all very uncertain and sometimes scary. But in light of it all, I have survived, as so many people before me have, and so many people ahead of me will. Maybe a few organs short of when I first started, but hey, I didn't really need those organs anyway. I was diagnosed with ovarian cancer when I was 8, 11 years ago. My treatment was a little different than most because I was lucky enough to catch my cancer in stage 1 before it was too late. I had a surgery to remove my malignant ovary, and tests confirmed that it had not spread. Unfortunately, it is a testament to the cruelty of cancer that even when one catches it early like I have, it doesn't necessarily leave your life forever. For me, it has been an ever-present part of my life every single day. You see, I also have a rare genetic disorder called Cowden Syndrome. My PTEN gene, a gene that suppresses tumors, is mutated. It's broken. Because that gene is broken, I grow tumors all over the place. Those tumors must be constantly checked to see if they are malignant or not, so the cancer beast is always lurking. Women with Cowden syndrome have an enormous breast cancer risk, about 60%. Not counting the additional risks due to the fact that I've already had ovarian cancer and that I have a family history of breast cancer. Thyroid cancer is also a huge risk for Cowden syndrome patients. I don't know the numbers exactly, but it's very high. Most people with Cowden syndrome either get breast and thyroid cancers in their lifetime or take the organs out before it gets that far. I think I've had about 13 or 14 surgeries so far in my lifetime, and I'm only 19. I ran into a real catch-22 over the last couple of years, though. They found multiple tumors in each of my breasts. The doctors decided that the way that we could handle them was to have breast ultrasounds to scan and measure each tumor every 3 months. If they don't grow, no problem. But if one would grow, then I'd have to have a surgical biopsy to check it for malignancy. Pretty quickly, they found that one had grown, and then another, and finally, after 2 surgical biopsies, the surgeon told me that I would not be able to continue managing my breast tumors that way. He said that each time you have a surgical biopsy, the scalpel itself damages the tissue, and then the scar tissue that forms further damages the tissue. Because of that tissue damage, the ultrasound and MRI cannot see into the breast clearly enough to measure all the other tumors. So what they were telling me is, I must keep measuring and monitoring these tumors, but at the same time they tell me that I can't keep scanning and measuring anymore. So what can I do then? I asked. Unfortunately, the only solution was a double mastectomy. I had my double mastectomy just this past August 5th. I am currently in the process of reconstruction, which will take another 6 months or so. I recovered well from the surgery, and the reconstruction is going as well as it can. For the same reason, too many surgical biopsies, I also had to have a complete thyroid removal last November. Now I must take synthetic thyroid every day for the rest of my life. So, as all too many of us are well aware of, it is a constant battle against cancer. We know just how easily we can get it, or get it again. I'm very happy to say that my risk for breast and thyroid cancer is now exponentially lower after getting these necessary surgeries. And that is the silver lining that helps me put things into perspective and keep fighting. So many people who hear my story tell me that they think I am such a strong person. They wonder, how do you do it? And tell me that I'm amazing. The thing is, I don't really think I'm all that strong, because being strong implies that I went through it even though I had the choice to run away. And because I didn't run from it, I am therefore strong. But being able to run away was never an option I had. Maybe if I had, I would have run, but I don't know. I do know that you don't feel all that strong and amazing when all this crap is happening to you. I am sure that if I had had the choice to not have cancer, I would have taken that option in a heartbeat. Reality is, though, that life throws up these brick walls, and you don't have those kinds of choices. Either you climb over the brick wall and move on with your life, or you don't. There's no back door, no other decision. You just survive. But it's not all depressing, and I think we all know that. Coming so dangerously close to death gives me a new appreciation for life, and it just makes everything else in life seem less stressful. Yes, I still have stress and things that upset me, but at least for me, the perspective I have from being a survivor is one I appreciate having. I mean, I went through enough to get that perspective. I might as well appreciate it for the good that it can bring me. Cancer prepared me to handle some really tough things, and although I'd give up having had it in a second, since I can't do that, I'd like to thank it. I would not have been able to get through all of my surgical procedures without the positive attitude that I have, and that comes from realizing that I could have died, but I didn't. That realization came very young to me. When I was just 7 years old and had all kinds of changes in my body from what appeared to be very early puberty, my pediatrician kept sending me for test after test after test to be absolutely certain that there wasn't something else happening to me other than precocious puberty, which he was positive I had. If he hadn't kept insisting that we rule out long shot after long shot, if he had just waited to see if it was really just the suspected precocious puberty, my ovarian cancer would not have been caught until stage 3 or 4, and I either would have died from it or had a hell of a fight ahead of me. The realization of what might have happened helps me deal with other issues in my life, and for that I am grateful. Cancer gave me other things too. One of them is the ability to find the silver lining. Every horror has at least one, and my mom taught me years ago that we must find it no matter what's happening around us. We have to find it, and we have to hold on to it. One of those silver linings was that my brother and I have been lucky enough to attend Camp Ronald McDonald, which is a camp for kids and siblings with cancer. I got to go for 10 years. It is a place that will always be in my heart and my mind as long as I live. Camp, like so much about cancer, is a double-edged sword. Sharing what I have with my dear friends at camp for 10 years gave me more than I can ever tell you. It helped to shape who I am. But cancer is always nearby, even at wonderful places like that. Because of my participation at camp, I have also endured the loss of many friends over the years. Young people who didn't win their battles like I did. I will never forget standing at my friend Leona's grave and grieving with my camp friends. She was a beautiful soul, and we loved her so dearly. Cancer took her from us when she was way too young. But I try to keep in mind that if it weren't for cancer in the first place, I would never have met her. My life is better because I knew her, and I can say that for each friend I have lost to this terrible disease. Cancer gave me the strength to survive losing camp friends way before their time, and cancer also gave me the chance to have those friends in my life. That is why the Luminaria Ceremony holds a special place in my heart. I get to honor the friends that I have lost to this disease. I get to honor their memory every year with this beautiful ceremony, another silver lining. We all get to stop and think about them and remember the good times, the bad times, and what they meant to us. By doing this, they are never